Published 3 years after Eugene O'Neill died in a Boston hotel room, his autobiographical play, Long Day's Journey into Night, was proclaimed an instant masterpiece. It's a tough haul, though, especially for its performers, as Jared Bowen found when he sat down with two of the stars at the new Repertory Theatre production.
Long Day's Journey into Night is classic American theater. Classic because it is Eugene O'Neill, because it has been so celebrated, and because it endures with a vengeance.
It requires a total commitment.
And really began a major sort of turning point in American drama.
All the money I wasted on your education when all you ever did was get yourself fired and disgraced from every college you ever went to.
Oh, for God's sake, don't drag up that ancient history.
Staged here by New Repertory Theatre, Journey sets us down in the maelstrom that is the Tyrone family. Set in 1912 Connecticut, their home is a den of resentment, codependency, and squandered ambitions, all manifested in one very long day.
That compacting of a lifetime worth of events into one day is like a magnifying glass. Every word, every thought, every response is a lifetime of responses.
Will Lyman, also known to PBS audiences as the voice of Frontline, stars as the family patriarch, an actor riddled with regret.
He's frustrated and he's guilty about decisions that he's made in the past, unable to admit them. There's a lot of blame in this play.
Lewis Wheeler plays son Jamie, an alcoholic who spent a lifetime failing, disappointing his father and his younger brother, and he's contending with his mother's worsening morphine addiction.
There's a lot of revenge in the play, and what makes it particularly interesting for me is that there is no particular hero or particular villain, that everyone has an axe to grind with almost every other character. So there's this whole idea of, can we escape the shackles of what we've done, who we've been, and also sort of the question of forgiveness.
It makes it so hard living in this atmosphere of constant suspicion, knowing that everyone is spying on you and that none of you trust in me or believe me.
It's crazy, Mama. We do trust you.
Playing the Tyrones is a grueling experience for the cast, a test of endurance even for the most dramatically fit.
Yeah, I had to come out of myself in a way that I haven't really been forced to do before. Getting into that place where everything irritated me, everything was a problem, everything needed to be fixed by somebody else, everything, you need to do something about this. That's ridiculous.
I never wanted to be an actor. You forced me on the stage.
That's a lie.
When O'Neill wrote the play, his wife describes him sobbing, for hours on end while he was writing, because he was exercising all of these stories and people from his past and sort of the demons of his life. So the play really requires you to go to some of those darker places.
Making for an arduous and riveting journey.
Jared Bowen is here. Well, this looks like a lot of fun. Uplifting night, huh?
Yeah. Happy night on Greater Boston.
Yeah, was it good?
It's very good. It's very intense. I mean, first of all, you've got two of Boston's leading best actors in Will Lyman and Karen MacDonald, and together this is the third time I think we've gotten to see them as a married couple, previously in Hamlet and then in Arthur Miller's All My Sons. So they're a fantastic cast, and the two men playing the sons here are fantastic, and it's a great production, very deliberate and careful, and it's terrific.
Now, Lewis Wheeler, the one who plays the younger son, younger or older? Younger.
He's the older son,
the older
Jamie.
son. Okay.
Yep.
He's got a great connection to this theater.
He does. His father is David Wheeler, who passed away in January. Yeah. And David Wheeler was, first of all, he is sort of, one of the great fathers of the theater community here in Boston, a longtime resident director at the ART. In the 60s, he worked with people like Al Pacino and Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro and Blythe Danner. But he was the assistant director on the original Broadway production of Long Day's Journey into Night, which, by the way, started here at the Wilbur before going to New Haven and then on to Broadway. And so Lewis was cast last summer, and he had a lot of conversations with his father about playing this part. So until his father passed away in January, he was sort of instrumental in getting him there and getting him in this role, and even taking, I think some observations that he had at that original production and giving it to his son. They had a great relationship.
That's sweet. Well, What was the timeline for Eugene O'Neill for this? So how old was he when he wrote this, and was it somewhat autobiographical?
It was completely autobiographical. I mean, he just had sort of this incredible life, and in terms of the travesty that he experienced. His father was a leading man, but was a star of The Count of Monte Cristo and just toured the country. So much like the father in this piece, he's an actor who can't come to terms with what he was. Eugene O'Neill's father could never reconcile the fact that he became this one character actor when at one point he had been considered one of the 3 greatest American actors. But he sort of sold out, so that's all he was ever known for, and he regretted that. And of course that filters down into the family. Eugene O'Neill's mother also had an addiction, as is portrayed here, and that's what makes this so incredible. Of course it all happens in one day, as Will Lyman was explaining. It's just, you would never have all of this happen in one day in a lifetime, but it's these parts that we all can recognize from family or family dynamics, sort of the needling and the regret and how they manifest themselves and how they change character. And Eugene O'Neill brought it all to bear when he wrote this play. He died, didn't want it published for 25 years afterward. His wife, probably recognizing that there was either editorial potential or royalty potential, had it published only within 3 years of his death.
His death here in Boston, was there anything suspicious about that? Or was that
no, he had a neurological disorder, so he failed quickly, and of course that was devastating to him too, because this was his 4th Pulitzer Prize that he won posthumously.
Jared Bowen. Thank you. And that is it for Greater Boston. Tomorrow night.
It's not right for everybody, but for someone like my dad, it was right.
Dad died with dignity under an Oregon suicide law. One woman's story as Massachusetts looks at its own death with dignity law. That's tomorrow. And tomorrow, my radio show, social media guru Dana Boyd joins us. That's all tomorrow at noon. I'm Emily Rooney. Good night.